What's coming for the Lakers will change everything about this season. You won't expect it. The board has shifted. The lane just opened, and I'm seeing a path that tightens our defense, stabilizes our second units, and takes 20 pounds of nightly wear off Anthony Davis without sacrificing the spacing LeBron needs to close games. Tonight I'm laying out the plan that's been quietly building under the radar. The timeline the cap rules actually allow, the rotation changes you'll feel in the first week, and how a specific big man's skill set flips our season from grind to control if we move decisively when the league's clock hits the right date. So stick with me because I'm going to connect the dots from front office leverage to on-court impact and only then drop the name that ties this blueprint together. No fluff, just the chess moves the smartest teams make when everyone else is still arguing about vibes. Here's what I'm delivering. Why the Lakers' identity is screaming for a rim-protecting lob hub who eats glass on both ends. How the second apron limits shape what's realistic. The precise salary band that makes a deal doable without gutting our guard depth. The rotation ripple effects that stabilize the non-AD minutes. The mid-season window when talks actually turn real. And the price point where this isn't fantasy anymore, but a clean, sensible basketball bet that fits our timeline. I'll start with the problem the box score hides. When AD has to be the backline, the roll man, the emergency switch, and the bailout shooter all in one half, our defense whispers instead of roars. We're elite when he flies around as the eraser. But the cost shows up in fourth quarters and back-to-backs. You feel it in those 2-minute droughts where we can't buy a second chance, and LeBron sees two bodies in the paint even on simple horn sets. The fix isn't star-chasing for headlines. It's a functional piece that stretches the floor vertically, deters at the rim, and turns 50-50 rebounds into 70-30s with technique and timing, and that's the heartbeat of this discussion. Zoom out to the west and look at what we have to beat 4 times in 7 nights. Deep pick-and-roll machines that spam empty corner actions, wings who punish every soft tag, and big lineups that bruise you into foul trouble. If we want AD playing free safety again, cheating a step, jumping a gap, erasing a layup while staying out of the death zone of constant bumping. We need a partner who sets violent screens, sprints into space, owns the middle on the glass, and doesn't need touches to tilt a defense. Give LeBron a 1-5 or 3-5 action with a real vertical threat, and watch the weak side low man freeze just long enough for a bullet to the corner or a lob nobody can out-jump. Give our second unit an anchor, and those shaky 5-minute stretches that have sunk us in the past turn into simple, repeatable offense plus clean defensive possessions with one and done. Now the calendar, because this is where fantasy turns into logistics. The league's trade rules give newly signed free agents a very clear not-before date in mid-December. And that's when GMs stop pretending and start returning calls. Teams that launched hot will double down. Teams that stumbled will rebalance, and the handful of veterans on affordable multi-year deals become the quiet center of the market. This is when your modeling has to be tight. No aggregation games if you're brushing the second apron, no messy exceptions that trigger hard caps. Just clean salary matches and assets with sensible protection so you help today and don't choke tomorrow. Here's the good news for us. The contract I'm tracking lives in a friendly band for matching purposes, not the kind of number that forces you to rip out 2 starters just to get in the room. That means you can structure something around one mid-tier salary that's replaceable internally, add a rookie-scale piece a partner actually wants, and then talk about a protected first or a future swap that preserves your chest. The result is a 1-for-1+ framework that lives within the apron guardrails and still keeps the wings and guards who give this team its shape. Basketball fit next, because if the court doesn't justify the ledger, I don't care how pretty the spreadsheet looks. Imagine LeBron walking it up. 2 horn screens at the elbows, AD set to slip, and the other big sprinting from dunker to slot to set a ghost and dive. The low tag is late because the screen actually made contact. The paint is occupied by gravity, not by a post-up, and the skip pass is alive. You can run Spain without overexposing AD to hits because your new 5 is contact-friendly, happy to screen 3 times in a possession and roll hard knowing the lob or the tip-out is there. On misses, those 4-point swings we've been giving up, long rebound, run-out, momentum, turn into our second shot and a staggered floor where our defense is set. That's the math that wins January on the road. And defense is the real payoff. Put a true drop minder behind AD and your coverage options explode. You can start in deep drop to take away rim and foul trouble, flatten to the level against hot pull-ups, and switch late clock without living in mismatches because the big moves his feet, blocks without chasing, and boxes out like it's a craft. It's not chaos defense, it's structure. Loud talk, clean tags, one contest, strong side peel, end the play. AD becomes the best version of himself. The gambler with insurance. The helper who doesn't have to be the first wall and the last eraser on every trip. So who actually fits that bill and is available in the real world once the date flips? I've danced around it long enough. The profile is a veteran who made his name as a screen and dive engine. Led playoff teams by owning the restricted area. Lived near the top of the league in offensive rebounding rates, ran for a living, and turned the simple two-man game into 8 clean points a night. Clint Capela. He built a reputation in Houston, reinforced it in Atlanta, and returned to Texas this summer on a team-friendly multi-year deal that screams movable if the right value appears once he hits trade eligibility. The beauty here is simplicity. Capela doesn't need the ball. He builds advantages with contact, timing, and angles, and he has zero ego about roll. Set it, smash it, dive, tip, reset, repeat. Our guards will feel him first. Driving lanes get wider because the drop can't ignore him, and the corner help has to honor the lob. LeBron will feel him next. The elbow series gets cleaner because the first screen is actually a hit, not a brush. AD will feel him most. Fewer collisions at the rim, more face-up touches, more free safety possessions, more juice late. I've watched Capela's tape for years. He's elite at the subtle stuff. The early seal on a switch to force appeal. The diagonals after a screen to open a pocket. The two-handed, no-dribble tip that buys an extra life for the possession. Let's talk rotation so you can picture this on TV. Against size, your closing five can be LeBron, AD, Capela, a two-way wing, and your best point-of-attack guard. You start in drop, bring AD up to the level if a hot pull-up is cooking, and switch on the last 6 seconds to avoid pick-and-pop rhythm. Against smalls, you stagger. Capela anchors the bench units where we've struggled most. AD grabs a few solo 5 minutes to turbocharge pace, then you reunite them late for rim control and glass. The second unit instantly gets a defensive identity. The 4 stops in a row stretch becomes attainable, and the transition math flips. Watch how many of our late clock heaves disappear when you've stolen 2 extra possessions with tips and hard rolls that force fouls. Price and competition. Because nobody gives you a high-level big for a handshake, Capela's market won't look like an all-NBA wings, but real playoff centers with clean habits and playoff reps don't move for pennies. The opening talk is a protected first, a mid-tier contract you can cover with current depth, and a swap. If you try to nickel and dime, another contender with a similar need and a clearer path under the apron will jump in. Our advantage is fit and role clarity. He's a star in his lane on this roster, not a placeholder. Your pitch is an every-night role, oxygen for AD, and a path to deep May basketball that magnifies what he does best. Your guardrails are simple. Don't include the heartbeat of your two-way wing room. Don't surrender multiple unprotected futures. And don't touch the late-game ball handling that makes us dangerous when possession's slow. Do offer protections that still return value. Do include a rookie scale piece a partner believes in, and do keep optionality for a separate wing move if the board gifts you one. I'm not ignoring the red flags. Capela's hands aren't Jokic soft in traffic, and he's not spacing to the arc so you can't live in 5 out. But the counter is easy. You don't need 5 out if your 5 is crushing screens, eating the glass, and sprinting into space. The gravity is vertical, not horizontal. Pair that with AD's elbow game and LeBron's angle reading, and the half-court looks different immediately. And the durability question. Big men take hits, but Capela's craft is a feature. Box early, tip instead of wrestle, avoid silly fouls, talk on the back line so you're meeting drivers on your terms. It's veteran stuff that protects a body through 82. Timeline matters more than fans realize. Because of free agent trade rules, the earliest real window to pry him loose opens mid-December. That's not far, but it's enough time for Houston to test their rotation and for us to gather internal data on lineups that bleed points in the paint. If they start hot and love their big man balance, no deal. Close the file and pivot. If they see a roster squeeze or need shooting in a bad way, that's our in. That's when quietly making a clean, respectful offer with real value, not desperation, not headlines, actually goes somewhere. Front offices trade when the move solves two problems at once. Our proposal would hand them a wing or guard they can use right now, plus future equity, and give us the one thing we've asked AD to do alone for too long. Before I give you my verdict, I want you in the war room. Tell me in the comments how far you'd go on pick protections, who you'd hold out of the offer no matter what, and which playoff matchup keeps you up at night if we don't add a true glass eater and rim runner. Your read shapes how I refine the frameworks I'm hearing and how we adjust expectations when that eligibility date hits. And if you're riding with me every time a phone call changes the board, make sure you're subscribed to Lakers News Fan Report so you're first on the breakdown when something moves. My take, concise and direct. This is a yes if the cost sits at a protected first, plus a clean, replaceable salary and a swap. Capela's screens create easy points our half-court sorely needs. His rebounding ends the extra possession bleeding that's cost us games. His drop coverage lets AD play the way he hurts people most. And his contract slot keeps the door cracked for a separate wing tweak later. The fit is obvious, the math is workable, the timeline is real, and the identity upgrade is immediate. If the window opens even a little, I lean in, because this isn't star collecting. It's the exact kind of functional addition that makes stars look like stars when it matters most. Now drop your package idea below, keep it realistic, keep it smart, and I'll build on the best ones in the next upload. If you want instant updates and film dives when the whispers turn into frameworks, hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell so this community keeps setting the pace on Lakers news and analysis.